our favorite here on the Rich Eisen Show from CSN Bay Area, Ray Ratto. How are you, Raymond?
Hi, Mom.
How are you doing, Ray? I mean, let's talk about the Raiders first. Where does that rank? Where does that rank?
They're the football team that functions.
What do you mean that? What do you mean by that?
Well, by that I mean they operate as though football is their most important product. Like they've made progress and like they're planning to make more. They look like what the Raiders had not looked like in a long time, which is a competent operation. So all credit to them.
So then what does that mean in terms of the 49ers? You're saying that the most important product is not what's going down on the field for the 49ers?
No, I think they think the most important product is what's on the field, but they're not very good at providing that. So,
before we get to the 49ers, let's talk more about these Raiders. Where does where does that Del Rio call rank from what you've seen in your days in the Bay Area? Where does that rank?
You know what? I didn't think it was an amazingly gutsy call, only because the wisdom has always been you try to win when you're the road team and you're willing to play for a tie if you're at home. Plus, Drew Brees was carving up their defense. So I think in a lot of ways, he provided a logical basis to do something that, frankly, and that his players had to carry out. So, I mean, it made sense to me. It was a perfectly logical and smart play, but I don't know that it reinvents football in any way. But it was, despite what the percentages say, given the situation, I thought the call made sense.
And so the Raiders taking this and making something of it, what do you think the odds are of that happening? Because the bandwagon has been full, Ray, on this team. As you know, the whole country has been all in on the Raiders taking the next step towards the playoffs this year, or fact in it. What do you make of that sensation?
Well, as you know, I'm a big believer in bandwagon.
Yes, you are.
I don't think there is any truer measuring stick for a team that's about ready to burst into flames and die than for people to tell us how good they are. That said, San Diego's hopeless. Denver's funky. Kansas City's weird. I don't know that they're good enough to win the division yet, but they're going to be in the argument till the end. And even if all you want to do is set the bar low for them, that's a lot more than they've been in a while. But I think beyond that, they have all the important positions filled, with people who are going to be there a while. I don't think there's a lot to complain about with these guys, except maybe that they might be going to Vegas next year.
Yeah, they might. Well, as I said at the top of the show and tweeted out yesterday, Del Rio's coaching like he's already there. I mean, what a big call that was, and it paid off for him.
Yeah, I see. And again, I mean, I thought it was a smart call, but I didn't think it was stunning. I just thought it was a guy who had figured out what the percentages are and operated that way. That's what you want your coach to do. If he had decided to just play for the tie, I'd have condemned him, even if they'd won in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got to respect that the other team's got players too, and all of New Orleans' players are on offense. So, I thought the way they were going, the way their own offense was operating, I just thought it was the call you had to make. It just made sense, and credit to him for making it, but I don't know that he change the nature of football as we know it.
CSN Bay Area's Ray Ratto joining me. Let's talk about tonight, the 49ers. What type of team are you expecting the 49ers to be this year, Ray? I think I got a sense of it with your opening comment, but what about tonight and the rest of 2016 to expect?
I think their defense will be up and down, and I think their offense will be mostly down. And while the Rams don't get me too excited, their defense does and has for a while. I think this is a tough game for them, just because if the Rams' defense plays the way I expect them to, the 49ers will struggle to score, and that will immediately cause stage 3 in the quarterback controversy that we've been trying to avoid all summer long. Because I think Kaepernick has won larger pockets of support than anybody would have thought, based on the fact that he's played so little. But I think there's a feeling that Blaine Gabbert is holding the job only temporarily. And unless the 49ers can show that they can get to 30 at some point, I think Chip Kelly's going to have a tough decision to make at some point, maybe sooner rather than later. And there's nothing that eats a coach in San Francisco more than having a quarterback controversy. It never works well.
Well, and how much of the decision-making involves what Kaepernick's doing during the national anthem, Ray?
Zero. I think Chip Kelly made it painfully clear by ignoring the first two, sitting incidents and the wacky socks affair. I think Kelly made it clear that he's a football coach, and he's going to make judgments based on football. He had ample opportunities to make a stand about, patriotism or honoring symbols or any number of things. He basically sent the kind of message that John Madden sent 45 years ago, which were, play for me, play hard for me, do everything I ask you to do, and we've got no problems. I'm not going to worry about little stuff. And I think in his mind, the national anthem and sitting or kneeling is little stuff. I just don't know that, unless for some reason the organization decides that Kaepernick has somehow failed them after basically letting him do what he wants for a month on this, I think it's going to be a football decision, which, frankly, is a sensible way to go because, I don't want my boss being the hall monitor. I think Kelly's handled it really well, and I think he's going to make judgments based on football and football only.
And so how do you think it ends with Kaepernick? Or does this happen all season that he's kneeling? What are you hearing about from the organization, from within the walls about the future of this as we all expect him to kneel during the national anthem on a 9/11 tribute weekend this evening?
Well, I mean, look, if he wanted to make it a massive stink, he would have done it this weekend. So, I mean, that to me is sort of off the table. I really think it's an issue socially, but I don't think it's an issue on the football team. And the fact that other players in other games made their own gestures this weekend is sort of an indication that this is such a hot-button issue that the National Football League doesn't see a gain in getting involved in it. And I think a lot of individual teams feel the same way. Not all of them, but some of them. And I think, it would be more interesting to me if a Ram took a knee tonight, because Jeff Fisher was sort of on record during the HBO show about how they felt about the anthem. I think the anthem's going to be a diminishing amusement for us as time goes on. But I think the 49ers helped make it a diminishing amusement by not turning it into more of a thing than it was. I really do think they handled it well, and that's not a sentence you apply to that team very often.
I know, or you doing that, or you personally doing that, Ray. I appreciate.
I'm breaking out into a rash just thinking about it.
Ray, thanks for calling in. I really, really, really enjoy it when you call in. So I look forward to the next time. Thanks.
The most frightening about that sentence was the word enjoy.
I did.
When you started that word, it should have ended endure.
Well, I enjoy enduring your segments, so let's do it again soon.
Okay, let's do it again.
You got it.
Let's get back. You know what? Call me back in half an hour.
At Ratto CSN, Ray Ratto.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.